We live in a society that is actually very driven by emotionally immature dynamics. It's not that the society entirely is that way, but many of the dynamics that we see are actually motivated by dynamics that are just not healthy. Because emotional immaturity is, in other words, emotional unhealth. Let's look at the schooling system, for instance. The schooling system tends to approach and view students depending on a grading system, depending on letters, A, B, C, all that stuff, D, E, F, pass, fail. You're either good or you're not good. Very, not only judgmental, but also emotionally immature. And the most fascinating thing about this, too, is that you find that there are some people, can oftentimes be a lot of people, that are so judged for not being like the rest of the herd. They don't want to go to school. They don't want to participate. They don't want to be a part of the group. And maybe it's because they think differently. Maybe it's because they're an entrepreneur at heart. It really doesn't matter what it is. What matters is that, and it's not good or bad or right or wrong or even unhealthy. It just, they're different. They don't see things the same way that other people do. And that's fine. But the fascinating thing is that what I see, that I recognize as exceedingly fucked up and unhealthy, is that we create this structure that students are supposed to follow. And the structure entails basically forcing students to do things. And the students don't want to do the things that we're forcing them to do. So then, as they do the things that we're forcing them to do that they don't want to do, we judge them on how poor they are at it while neglecting that they don't want to do it, and then shame them for not being good at it, for not being good at something that they don't even want to do. And so then what happens is over time you see these young children as students turn into adults, and they get stuck in this fucked up structure of a absurd belief system that they're not good enough, that they're not okay, that the system that they came from twisted them and turned them into this distorted entity of a person that is just incapable and just cannot achieve simply because they were tried through this exceedingly twisted and fucked up system that is present in many places. There's no problem with education. We're humans. We learn things. That's just the way that life works. There is an issue with the way in which education is approached or put out there or put on a desk in front of a student. The most important thing that I'm recognizing here is that every day adults that were children, they turn out in a fucked up way, severely damaged, simply because they were forced to do things that they didn't want to do. And it's not just education, it's also the way in which the structure of our society and culture operates. You're either this or you're that. No, you're not, quite frankly. Nobody gets to tell you who the fuck you are, and if they try to, they can go fuck themselves, quite frankly. Because the likelihood that they're projecting their self onto you is very high. And that's a violation of boundaries. It is in and of itself fucked upness. So imagine this. Imagine you're being raised by somebody who is projecting themselves onto you, and it's distracting you from yourself. Imagine you're being raised by somebody, or not even just somebody, multiple people that are teaching you who you are, not based on healthy boundaries, between self and other, but based on the fucked up ways that they see anybody. Say for instance, according to the education system, it's a pass or fail dynamic. You're either good or you're bad. You're either a good student or you're a bad student. Fuck that. It's so inaccurate. It really is. It is absolutely no telling of somebody's potential. All of these traditional systems that are supposed to guide us in a direction of clarity that is supposed to make sense, it doesn't. And quite honestly, it's doing more damage than anything. It really is. In what universe does it make sense to pressure kids to do things that, quite honestly, they might not even want to do? Not everyone gives a fuck about the same thing. Not everyone gives a fuck about the things that are being taught in school. And quite honestly, they don't need to, because not everyone's going to be a doctor, a lawyer, a historian. Some people are going to be entrepreneurs. Really, what I'm trying to get at is not the fundamental fact that it is fucked up that we fuck kids up in the schooling system like this, but that we shame children that turn into adults that live with that shame and continue with that shame into believing that, oh, well, if they had just done that thing because they were supposed to do it, then everything would have been... No, it wouldn't have been okay, Nancy. Nobody gives a fuck. It wouldn't have changed their life like you fucking think it would have. If they don't want to do it, they don't fucking have to do it. Not everyone should have to follow the same fucking course. They shouldn't. There shouldn't be these classes that I would argue are completely fucking irrelevant that everyone's just supposed to take. And they should be pressured to do that. Again, this is not just education. It's not. This is literally life in and of itself. You have to do this. You have to... no, I fucking don't. And no, you fucking don't. Period. So I'm going to let you sit in that tension and that discomfort in recognizing just the reality of the potential for awakening here, and see that, oh wow, yeah, a lot of people have been pressured to do things that maybe they didn't communicate that they didn't want to do because they felt like they had to. They were living in survival, and they appeased and they kept the peace, and they ended up being the scapegoat, and they took responsibility. They took fault for something they didn't need to, so they learned to be the fucking punching bag. They learned to be the fucking go-to person that had to deal with these ideas that they're just not good enough if they don't take these fucking paths. No. You don't have to do what you don't want to do. Do your laundry if you want clean clothes. Do the dishes if you want to eat on some clean plates. Take a fucking degree that you don't want to? No. It's not rocket science. It really isn't. But the reality of the matter is that a lot of people are being raised by not only parents, but also other people, teachers, friends, fucked up reinforcements that they're just supposed to do these things that they don't want to do. And then when it comes to the realization, I just don't want to do it. Oh, well, shame on you for not wanting to do it. Your fucking grandfather did it. Why can't you do it? It's absurd. It's absolutely absurd. It really is. So yeah, let's pressure people to do things that they don't want to do. And then shame them for not being good at doing things that they don't want to do. It's absolutely fucking wild. It is a tragedy. Yeah, let's just shame people for not being good at things that they don't like doing anyway. I'll tell you right now that if I were to do something that I didn't want to do, I wouldn't be good at it. Not even halfway. Not even a quarter of the way. Because I don't give a fuck about it. And that's okay. I'm allowed to not give a fuck about it, just like anybody else is allowed to not give a fuck about it. So this pressure that we're putting on people to do things that they don't want to do, you do it, Nancy. Oh, but you don't want to do it either? But you're going to force little Johnny to do it, and then you're going to fucking shame him for not being good at it? That's a really good way to fuck up little Johnny. Yeah. Oh man, it's very tragic. It's tragic and it's sad. I know that I utilize humor and different elements in this video to kind of portray the absurdity, and I think it's important. It is insanely absurd. It's exceedingly unhealthy. It's exceedingly dysfunctional and fucked up. And quite honestly, I think the system's changing. I would never support a system like that. And my resignation from any system like that is, in and of itself, a withdrawal and a lack of support. It's fucking stupid. Why would you shame somebody for not being good at something that they don't even want to fucking do? Instead, just to make things really fucking clear here, because it's very important too, a lot of kids have a lot of pressure. Cut it out. Just cut that shit out. Why don't we not only just kids, adults also? Like why aren't we asking people how they're doing more? You know? And don't get me wrong, I understand that, boundaries are important. Believe me, I understand that. But it's kind of just like left hook, right hook, left hook, right hook. And it just doesn't fucking stop. People are autonomous individuals even if they don't see themselves that way. Give people a fucking break. Be gentle with people. Stop being a fucking asshole and pushing people so fucking hard. Do they even want to be pushed? Do they even recognize that they have free human agency to say no? Or are they just going through the motions to try to fucking survive? The system's not working. And at some point it will completely fall apart. That is my belief. And I look forward to what rises like a phoenix from the fucking ashes out of that, because the current system just doesn't work. It's a tragedy. It's a fucking travesty. Nobody should be shamed for being not good at doing something that they don't want to do. If I don't want to do something, I'm probably not even going to show up to it. So anybody that even has the audacity to show up and give a fraction of the effort, it makes sense. People need space to develop themselves in a healthy and conscious way. They need to not be told what to do, but instead asked what they want to do. And all of the neuroticism, all of the excessive worry, all of the even psychotic bullshit needs to go. It's unhealthy. It really is. And this cookie cutter one size fits all fucking tragedy of an education system is shot. Pass or fail. Humans are so fucking complex. So fucking complex. We're trying to fit an idea of infancy that doesn't work and is not healthy into people that are evolved. It needs to stop. It really does. Pass or fail. Yeah, so this is the last thing real quick. Pass or fail. So during the education process, I'm going to be so worried about passing the class that I'm going to be distracted by that. And I'm going to be distracted from enjoying the educational experience. Just being distracted. Fuck that.